The unexpected invasion. The skies over Earth had always been a source of wonder, but on this day, they held terror. The invasion came without warning, a fleet of alien ships descending from the heavens, casting shadows over cities and fields. The world had prepared for many things, but this, an attack from beings beyond the stars, was not one of them. In a remote command center buried deep beneath the Earth's surface, General Marcus Daniels stared at the monitors, his heart pounding in his chest. The alien ships were unlike anything humanity had ever seen, sleek and dark, bristling with weapons. They moved with an eerie precision, their intent clear: conquest. Daniels quickly activated the Global Defense Network, sending out the signal to every military base across the planet. Humanity would not go down without a fight. Across the globe, soldiers donned their gear, jets roared to life, and anti-aircraft batteries turned their sights to the sky. But as the first wave of alien fighters broke through Earth's atmosphere, it became clear that this battle would not be easy. On the front lines, Captain Sarah Mitchell led her squadron of fighter jets into the air. Her voice crackled over the radio, calm but determined. "Stay sharp, everyone. We've trained for this. Let's show them what we're made of." The first clash between the two forces was brutal. Alien ships moved with unnatural speed, their weapons far more advanced than anything humanity had encountered. But the humans fought with a ferocity born of desperation. They knew that if they failed here, there would be no second chance. In the chaos of battle, Sarah's jet was hit, sending her spiraling toward the ground. She managed to eject just in time, her parachute deploying as she floated down into a dense forest. She landed hard, wincing as she rolled to her feet. The sounds of battle echoed above, but she knew she couldn't stay here. She had to find a way back to the fight. Resistance rises. As the alien forces advanced, Earth's defenses struggled to hold the line. Cities fell under bombardment, and the skies were filled with the screams of fighter jets and the thunder of explosions. But even as the situation grew more dire, humanity refused to give up. In the mountains of Colorado, a group of civilians had taken refuge in an old military bunker. Among them was Dr. Emily Carter, a scientist who had spent her life studying theoretical physics. She had always believed that humanity was not alone in the universe, but she had never expected to face an invasion like this. As the bunker shook from the distant impacts of alien bombs, Emily gathered the other survivors around her. "We can't just sit here and wait to die," she said, her voice firm. "We need to find a way to fight back." The group quickly set to work, using the limited resources they had to rig up a makeshift communications system. Emily knew that if they could somehow disrupt the aliens' technology, they might be able to turn the tide of the battle. It was a long shot, but it was the only hope they had. Meanwhile, General Daniels and his team worked tirelessly in the command center, analyzing the aliens' tactics and searching for a weakness. It was clear that the invaders had underestimated humanity's resolve, but that would not be enough to win the war. They needed a plan, and fast. On the battlefield, Sarah Mitchell had managed to make her way back to friendly territory. She regrouped with what was left of her squadron, her determination stronger than ever. "We've taken some hits, but we're not done yet," she said, rallying her troops. "They think they can break us, but they're wrong. Let's make them regret ever coming here." The turning point. Days turned into weeks, and the war raged on. Earth's forces were battered but not broken, and the alien invaders began to realize that this fight would not be as easy as they had thought. The humans were tenacious, resourceful, and above all, united in their determination to defend their home. In the command center, General Daniels received a transmission from Dr. Carter. Her team had managed to decode some of the aliens' communications, and they had discovered a crucial piece of information. The invaders were not invincible. Their ships, while advanced, had a critical flaw in their energy shields. If they could exploit this weakness, they might be able to cripple the alien fleet. With this new intelligence, Daniels devised a daring plan. A small strike team, led by Captain Mitchell, would infiltrate one of the alien command ships and plant a device that would disrupt their shields. It was a dangerous mission, but it was the best chance they had. As Sarah prepared for the mission, she couldn't help but think of her family back home. They were counting on her, as was the entire planet. She steeled herself, knowing that there was no room for doubt. Failure was not an option. The strike team launched under the cover of darkness, slipping past the alien defenses and boarding the command ship. The interior was unlike anything they had ever seen, a maze of strange technology and eerie silence. But they moved with purpose, making their way to the heart of the ship. As they planted the device, alarms blared throughout the vessel. The aliens were onto them. Sarah and her team fought their way back to the extraction point, the tension mounting with each passing second. Just as they reached the exit, the device activated, sending a shockwave through the ship's systems. Humanity strikes back. The alien command ship shuddered as the device unleashed its power, disrupting the energy shields that had protected the invaders for so long. The strike team barely escaped with their lives, but their mission was a success. As they returned to Earth, the tide of the battle began to turn. With the alien shields down, Earth's forces launched a massive counterattack. Fighter jets and bombers swarmed the skies, targeting the now vulnerable alien ships. On the ground, infantry units pushed forward, reclaiming lost territory and driving the invaders back. General Daniels watched the battle unfold on the monitors, a sense of hope swelling in his chest. For the first time since the invasion began, it seemed that victory was within reach. But he knew that they could not afford to be complacent. The aliens were still a formidable enemy, and the war was far from over. In the skies above, Sarah Mitchell led her squadron in a daring assault on the alien flagship. The ship was massive, bristling with weapons and surrounded by a swarm of smaller fighters. But Sarah and her team flew with a determination that matched the ferocity of the invaders. They weaved through the enemy fire, their jets screaming as they unleashed their payloads on the flagship. The explosions rocked the massive vessel, tearing through its hull and sending debris raining down on the battlefield below. The flagship was heavily damaged, but it was not enough to bring it down. Sarah knew they had to strike at the core. With her squadron covering her, Sarah dove toward the heart of the flagship, her eyes locked on the reactor. The alien defenses were intense, but she pushed through, her focus unwavering. As she approached the reactor, she released her final payload, a direct hit that sent a massive explosion ripping through the flagship. The final stand. The destruction of the flagship sent shockwaves through the alien fleet. Their command structure was in disarray, and the remaining ships began to fall back. But the humans were relentless, pressing the advantage and pushing the invaders to the brink. On the ground, Dr. Carter and her team continued their work, using the data they had gathered to disrupt the aliens' remaining defenses. They hacked into the enemy's communications, sowing confusion and chaos among their ranks. The once coordinated invasion had turned into a desperate retreat. General Daniels ordered a full-scale assault on the remaining alien strongholds. Tanks, artillery, and infantry surged forward, overwhelming the enemy positions. The aliens fought fiercely, but their will was broken. They had never expected such resistance, and now they were paying the price. As the battle raged on, Sarah Mitchell found herself in the thick of the fighting once again. Her jet had been shot down, and she was now leading a ground assault on one of the last alien strongholds. The fighting was brutal, but Sarah's determination never wavered. She knew that this was the final push, the last stand to drive the invaders off their planet. The alien stronghold was a fortress, heavily fortified and bristling with defenses, but the humans had come too far to turn back now. They stormed the walls, their weapons blazing as they fought their way inside. The corridors were filled with smoke and the sounds of battle, but Sarah pressed on, her squadron at her side. As they reached the central chamber, they found the alien leader, a towering figure surrounded by his guards. But even he could not stand against the fury of the humans. In a final, desperate battle, The alien leader was defeated, and the stronghold fell. Victory and reflection. The fall of the last stronghold marked the end of the invasion. The alien fleet, now leaderless and battered, retreated from Earth's orbit. The skies cleared, and the sounds of battle faded, replaced by a stunned silence. The war was over. Humanity had won. But the cost had been high. Cities lay in ruins, millions had lost their lives, and the scars of the invasion would take years to heal. As General Daniels stood on the battlefield, surveying the aftermath, he knew that this victory had come at a great price. But it was a price that had been necessary to ensure the survival of humanity. Sarah Mitchell, battered and exhausted, joined her fellow soldiers in the streets of the now liberated city. The people cheered as they passed, their faces filled with gratitude and relief. Sarah couldn't help but smile, despite the pain and loss that weighed on her. They had done it. They had saved their world. In the mountains of Colorado, Dr. Carter and her team emerged from their bunker, their work complete. They had played a crucial role in the victory, using their knowledge and skills to turn the tide of the battle. As they looked out over the horizon, they knew that the world would never be the same. But they also knew that humanity had proven its strength, its resilience, and its capacity for greatness. A new dawn. In the weeks that followed, Earth began the slow process of rebuilding. The alien threat had been defeated, but the world had been forever changed. Nations came together as never before, united by the shared experience of defending their planet. Borders blurred, and a new sense of global solidarity emerged. General Daniels was hailed as a hero, but he remained humble, knowing that the victory had been a collective effort. He spent his days working to ensure that Earth would be better prepared for any future threats, determined to protect the world he had fought so hard to save. Sarah Mitchell returned to her family, finally able to rest after the long and brutal war. But she knew that her life would never be the same. She had seen the worst of humanity, but also the best. She had witnessed the courage, the sacrifice, and the unbreakable spirit that had carried them through the darkest days, and she was proud to have been a part of it. Dr. Carter continued her work, using the knowledge they had gained from the alien technology to advance humanity's understanding of the universe. She knew that there were still many mysteries out there, and that humanity had only just begun to explore the stars. But she also knew that they were ready, that they had proven their worth as a species, and that they would face whatever challenges came their way with the same determination and resilience that had seen them through the invasion. As the sun set on a world forever changed, the people of Earth looked to the future with hope and determination. They had faced the greatest threat in their history and emerged victorious. They had shown that humanity was not to be underestimated, that they were capable of greatness, and that they would continue to reach for the stars. And so, a new dawn broke over Earth, a dawn of unity, strength, and hope. Humanity had faced the darkness and emerged into the light, ready to take their place among the stars.